Hello and welcome to Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez. I am a television and social media news coverage consultant and author of How to Get Television News Coverage. It's easier than you might think. Today, I am so excited to introduce to some, but really bring to the attention of others, the Miss Vickie Frazier Williams. If your face looks familiar to you, it's because she spent I don't even know how long
20 years.
as 20 years
Yeah.
as a reporter and anchor on Channel 10, ABC's WPLG television station. But what she's doing now is she's this financial phenom. Vickie?
Who would have thought it, right? Who would have thought it? So first of all, Jacqueline, let me just say thanks so much for having me on today. It was great seeing you. It is great seeing you, even though I've been seeing you anyway with all the great work that you're doing.
Thank
It
you.
is interesting. I have people ask me all the time, how do you go from being a TV reporter to being a financial services professional? And when I really think about it, it's not a big leap at all. I saw myself on television as educating people through TV, right? I was able to tell folk what was going on in the community and delve deeper into stories and information that was necessary and needed in the community. So I felt TV could be used as an education tool. From there, when I left after 20 years, I went full force into the charter school world. And before I was done, we put together something like 70 charter schools around the country. I
Wow.
started doing the communication side of that. And thank goodness, sometimes people see in you what you don't see in yourself. And I suddenly became vice president of development, moved out to Las Vegas, and built three schools out there. One of them with the 100 Black Men of Las Vegas. Opened up with
Wow.
600 students on the first day. It was wonderful. So, again, educating more my hands on at that point with
And
children
you
and
are
their
the
families.
education queen. I mean, you were the queen of education. And that brings me to the fact that, in the financial world, I can understand your success because integrity is so important. When you're handing over your finances to somebody, you have to trust the person you're handing it over to. And I was so glad to reconnect with you because you were being honored through ICABA World Network,
Yes.
and 20 women around the nation honored for their works, and no surprise to me that your name was in the hat.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I was and am honored to be among those women making an impact in the community. And the coolest thing about it, Jacqueline, is we're just doing what we do. We're doing what we believe is necessary, things that we believe in, and that becomes to the benefit of the community. Financial planning is so huge. I've been saying to folk now for a minute. We need to change our language about money in our community. We need to change our habits about money. And too often, those conversations don't happen early enough. And so that is what I'm finding is my biggest job is an educating role again before we
Right.
even get to your finances. And you made the point, trust is so key because it is your money. It is your life savings and prayerfully your retirement, a good retirement. So you've got to trust that person that you're going to open up to. And I have a true step up because of my 20 years on the air here. Never a problem with me in the community with my not only my personality but integrity, etc. I've just not had any issues. So I think it has come easy for people to trust kind of that face that was always in their living rooms for the evening news.
And where did that desire, as far as, getting into finance, where was that born in you?
Believe it or not, and this is happening for I think a lot of people, we get to a later stage in life before we realize there's some things that we should have, would have, could have done. For me, it actually started with my father, frankly, being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, passed away a year later. I was then in this business, and it was such a timely thing because I became the executor of his will. And my mom, they've been married 60 years, so 14 months later, mom was gone. And I'm the second oldest, but I was the executor. So, in terms of understanding wills and trust, in terms of understanding how important certain documents are to have in place before you leave here, I was face forward with that kind of work. And, you might have heard me say this, but I really believe in Proverbs 13 and 22. It says, a good man, and in this case, a good woman also, leaves an inheritance to their children's children. My mom and dad did that. It's 5 children. They left each of us. They were 100% debt free when they died. And
Nice.
they left every single one of us a mortgage free home or real estate. And neither of my parents had a college education. My dad was a mechanic. My mom was a stay at home wife and mother. But they left this financial legacy. And I honestly believe it underscores and undergirds why I'm doing this business now. Because to get to that point and realize there's some things that, way back in Channel 10, look, I was making good money. I had good benefits. But what I didn't have time for was that financial planner who was trying to explain to me what I needed to do with my money when I was 25. So,
Yeah, and that's the key is when you get in, and even if you don't get in, I'm so glad you said that about the fact, your parents didn't have that particular upbringing that, people think you have to have. It doesn't matter when you begin. It's the thing is you have to do it. You
yeah.
have to begin something new, and you have to start valuing whatever you're bringing in
Oh,
and stop looking at it like it's somebody else, somebody else's dream. No, it's yours.
that's
And
right.
so you're an easy person for me to go, hey, Vickie, I've known you for as long as it's been 20 years at least, I know.
At
And I
least.
was so excited to reconnect with you,
Thank you.
at the Akaba event. And I was thrilled, and I have to, share these pictures because, Vickie came with a support group. Yeah, yeah. And this to
Beautiful.
me just was one more thing because you came in with an army of beautiful women who are still supporting you, are still impacting the community, no matter where you are, on air, off air, it's in your blood.
Mm.
You're the kind of person that you want dealing with your finances because it's again, I reiterate this time and time again with my guests because they generally have a similar pattern of caring. I like to share stories about people who care and impact the community, and you're that person. And I have to come back and bring you that picture of, you
Please.
know, the
But
the head
what,
of
Jacqueline, as you can
the
tell,
head.
I always with all of my Delta sisters, my soror said, if we do anything, we do picture taking. So, yes,
Right.
please, they would love to have that picture.
And here again, another person impacting the community, Jerome Hutchinson Jr., who is he calls himself the CSO, the Chief Servant Officer of ICABA World Network. And, I could tell that you two knew each other. And, but I think again, that role that you play or the both of you play in impacting the community and just trying to show people how to connect.
And
Don't be
he
afraid of
is
your
a he's a master at it,
mm,
Jacqueline. I spent 1 year actually working with him in Akaba, and the impact of it's interesting that he'd come up with women of impact, but in all honesty, there are people of impact who are connected through him. You heard him that night talk about how relationships matter. It's true, like you said, you and I have known each other for 20 some years, and I am running into and reconnecting with people I have known for a long time. It is so. First of all, let me just also say to you, thank you for your words. That means more to me than anything. For all of the years that I was on the air, and since then, I'm still amazed by people who know me by my voice. I have actually
absolutely.
gone through a drive-through, or I've gone through and talked to where all they heard was my voice and they knew me. And I'm 20, believe it or not, I'm 22 years off the air. So
Oh
it's
my
been
gosh.
22 years since I left Channel 10. And so it's amazing to me that people still not only remember me, but like me and really want to do work with me. And I think it is simply because even through my work, people saw and see my heart. And so I think I am uniquely placed and positioned to do this because when it comes to your money, when it comes to generational wealth, when it comes to your family and loved ones, that is critically important to have someone that you trust. And I'll tell you something that happens in our community is we get like this, we get like really tight with our information, right? We don't want to
Mm,
share that kind of thing. And I say to people, come on, at some point, everything about you will be known, right? We have to be careful about letting our information out, but that's where integrity and trust comes.
you
When
know,
it comes to a financial services person, the first thing is who are they and are they trustworthy? And
yeah, that
I
is
think
such
I know.
a big concern. Uh, Trust.
Yes.
And just in general, everybody is so thinking, what is this person really after? Or if I give them that information, will they use it against me? And, it's just like I was talking to someone prior to you. I'll just mention Carol Boston because I was talking to
Okay.
Carol Boston, who is a coach, and she is phenomenal. But we were talking about love,
Hmm.
and you have to be vulnerable to receive love. And in this case, you have to look at you have to trust somebody that way,
You do.
and trust that they're going to make the best decision with your hard work,
You
with the
do.
money that you put into it. And I saw something that said you can save put away $40 a week and make such and such amount, or you can invest $40 a week and make like a million. It was just something like that. But it's an education, it's a mindset.
It is.
And I think if I'm going to walk through that, if I'm going to try this out, I would like to try it out with someone like you, Vickie.
Oh, you know what? That's great. I consider that a huge endorsement, actually. But you know what? Let me say this to you, Jacqueline, because we don't want to miss this. There have been people in our community who have not done right by our people when it comes to life insurance, when it comes to them opening up. And I understand that. I get that completely. But that's no excuse for you not to make sure that your future is secure. Sometimes people are concerned not just about whether or not it's going to be confidential, whether or not you're going to keep their information. Well, I will, and I'm bound by my word, but also by my company and what it is we stand for. So that's going to happen. But a lot of times people just we hold tight to that information, and then we find ourselves, and this is happening a lot to me, where women are in retirement, and it's like I woulda, coulda, shoulda, and really, honestly, the younger it's young folk who really need to get this, really need to understand that it's not about the here and now, right now. They call it what, the microwave age or whatever, where we want everything right now. But if you can discipline yourself enough to put some money away, and let's talk about life insurance. If you do that at an early age, you're the youngest you'll ever be, you're the healthiest you will ever be. You put that money there and let it grow. Don't touch it. That money comes out tax free. I'm showing people how to use life insurance to create their own pension. I mean, that's not stuff that people talked about before, at least
No,
in our
it's not.
community, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And so people immediately think life insurance. Well, I'm not, and I've had people say this. I'm not leaving some money for other people to, to go run around and spend it and blow it and stuff like. Well, wait a minute. Let's go back to Proverbs 13:22, right? Good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. It's not just about leaving them money. It's about educating them on how to use that money as well. And it's not all to be spent now, to be worn now. It is for future generations, here,
Right.
now, and later.
Yeah. And the truth of the matter is, Vickie, we could, I know you have nugget after nugget after nugget. And I'm selfish and I would keep you and keep you and keep you. But what I want you to do is I'll put her information in the chat as well. But get with Vickie is my bottom line. My
Uh-huh.
bottom line is get with Vickie. Ask your questions. I have no concern about, your information will be confidential
Absolutely.
and thought over, and in this case, prayed over. And so that's my recommendation for today. That's Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez. That's my number one recommendation.
I see.
Um,
I love that. And
you
you know what
know,
you should throw in there too is a consultation with me costs you nothing. So that initial conversation costs nothing.
there you have it. What
My
more do you
time.
want?
Yeah,
That's
that's
right. Time with Vickie.
that's right.
That's awesome. Let me call. What's the number? Let me let me call and get that number, that
It's
consultation.
there. It's there.
All right, Vickie, thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. I love this. It's a good way to wake up today.
I love reconnecting with you, Vickie.
You
Thanks
too.
so much for joining us on Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez. See us again next week.
Wonderful.